why are you leaving your main assignment and you're doing the one that is supposed not to be a core assignment? But I'll tell you that if you take, some people are trying to drag it through whatever means, and so that the Federal Executive Council should not know anything about contract. It's not right. Some people even feel the president should not even know about contract award. So maybe you sit as the president of the country, like Bradley said, if anything happens to someone's head, then you want to award a contract of $1 billion, the president should not even know. Somebody somewhere, one director will award a contract of $1 billion. The next thing there are problems, it is the president that journalists like you will ask, Mr. President. Mr. President, why should this thing happen? How will I answer?
Mr. President, Mary was in the middle of a sentence before we...
Yes, I'm just wondering now, Nigerians, of course, talking about the cabinet, Nigerians point a lot of fingers at the petroleum industry, and when they talk about corruption, that is what comes to the forefront. And of course, we want to know, are you satisfied with what's going on in the Ministry of Petroleum?
If you talk about Ministry of Petroleum, I just sometimes, just like I said, that when we appoint service chiefs, I just sympathize with them because it's a glorious office. As a military officer, you want to be a service chief. That's the ultimate. Well, the day you leave, of course, they are courageous people. They are trained to be so, and they know what happens, so they don't show any sentiment. But our own income comes from petroleum. So everybody's eyes is on petroleum. And whenever you are heading a sector where the eyes of everybody, all those who want oil blocks and have not gotten the oil blocks, all those who want oil marginal fields have not gotten marginal fields, all those who want to lift oil and cannot lift oil, all those who want to get products and so on, everybody is on you. Whether you get to the left, you go to the right, people will criticize. And I told you already that even before the House of Rep set up the committee to say they are probing or not probing, we did a number of in-house things, and we are still doing it now. So most of these stories you hear, just like we talked about the issues of corruption, are based on perception. Nobody has sat down to do proper analysis. And I always tell people that it's not what you think that is right. Society is not based on somebody's imagination. Somebody the other day was telling me that I think it was during Babagiza's time when somebody I love so much, late Taisolari, raised one alarm. What was the subject matter about? So it was now called and asked, how did you get the information? So he had it in Molwe. Is it what you had in Molwe that you now write? Because you've written it in a paper, a well-known paper. It becomes like a concrete story. But you had it from Molwe, and you now, with your experience as a journalist, as somebody who people have respect for, you now write a beautiful story out of it. So it's your story that people are now relying on, not the gossips in Molwe. And when it was asked, you had it in the Molwe. It's also, we are saying that some of these stories, people are just like the Molwe stories. People don't come with concrete. Even when after the issues of the House of Rep, we set up a team. The last thing was headed by, I think, Ike Muko, the Access Bank MD and so on. We did forensic analysis. Initially, what the impression we are giving is that we are even going to get up to 400 billion. And my answer, I read, if we get 400 billion, what we can do with 400 billion? At the end of the day, the recoveries were quite insignificant compared to what was speculated and what was rumored. But in terms of what we pay for subsidies, it dropped significantly because of the subsidy. Because we moved from 65 to 97. So while we are paying almost 2 trillion or thereabout a subsidy, now we are paying a little less than $1 trillion. It's not because of that probe per se. If we did not reduce the subsidy, we would still have been paying almost the same amount. So at the end of the day, this is the whole proof that we were almost shaking this country as if the whole country wanted to collapse. At the end of the day, the gains would have been insignificant compared to even the so-called issues raised. So you are here, so you appreciate some of this a little more than somebody who just reads from the papers. I'm not saying there is no corruption in the oil sector. The oil sector is, the whole economy of this country is on the oil sector. There are all kinds of things may be happening. But the way people are looking at it may not be exactly the way. And we are still looking at it. Even recently, we have now asked another audit group to also look into issues of revenue in the oil sector.
Just quickly, sir, are you pleased with the way the PIB bill is being pushed in the National Assembly? Because it seems to be doing at a very slow pace, given the significance of that bill relative to the petroleum sector, especially the reforms we are talking about.
Mr. President, in addition to that, just as we round up to go, Nigeria is celebrating its 53rd anniversary on Tuesday, 1st of October. The composer of Nigeria's national anthem, Bernard Diasi, has passed on. The designer of the Nigerian flag, I think his name is Taiwo Akikumi, is still living, but is living in abject poverty. As Nigeria celebrates, what do you do with some of Nigeria's heroes that are still living? And what do you say to Nigerians as they celebrate 53th anniversary?
Yeah, thank you. First, you talked about the PIB. Of course, PIB is before the National Assembly, and they are patriotic Nigerians, and I believe they will do the best. I don't want to make too much of comment on that because it's outside us, the executive. It is with another arm of government. But I will use this opportunity to again congratulate Nigerians for our 53rd anniversary. We have ups and downs, we have our challenges as a nation, but definitely we'll get to where we want to go. Other nations that get to where they are pass through challenges too. It has never been an easy ride for any nation. I remember if you read this book written by this Singaporean leader, that from third to the first, you see that when he started his reforms, he said that he was even being stoned by people. It was as bad as that because of the initial pains. But now they enjoy it. So Nigeria will get to where we want to go. We will not get to that level where they will be stone president anyway, whether it's Jonathan or another president. But we'll get to where we want to go. And for these great men, you know that this government is one government that really appreciate the contributions of our leaders. You remember when we celebrated the 50th independence, we selected 50 Nigerians and gave them special presidential award. In fact, we want to gazette it and get it in a way that you can use just like you use the GCFR, GCN, MFR, and so on. So also that one you can use it after your name. I told the Attorney General to do that. So that is a honor given to you by the President, Commander-in-Chief that you can put. We are also doing that for 100 Nigerians, dead or alive, for the centenary. In the national honors, the law that establishes the national honors don't make provision for posthumous awards. So if you are dead, you cannot be given national honors. But this special award, you could be given. And for this person who is still alive, it's good you have reminded us. Yes, my Minister of Information is also listening to this program. So we'll see what we can do. But I also call well-meaning Nigerians also, because Nigerians are very charitable people. A number of us have NGOs that assist people. Such people should be helped by all of us.
Obviously isn't enough to talk about all the challenges Nigeria is faced with and all of the progresses that Nigeria has made in the last 53 years. But would like to thank you very, very much, Mr. President, for giving us this platform to ask our questions, and also thank Nigerians out there who did send in their tweets. There were hundreds of them, and our sincere apologies for our inability to be able to take all of your messages, but we put them in context and we're able to ask the President some of those questions. Again, we'll be joined by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, popularly called Gej. His president is yes, it's popularly called Gej, G-E-J. So now you know. And of course, I haven't been alone. I've been joined by my very admirable friends and colleagues and senior partners as well. To my immediate right, Shehu Dauda is the Editor-in-Chief, Capital Post. Thank you so much, Malam Dauda, for joining us. Also, we had Nusa Igiebo, Editor-in-Chief, Tell Magazine. Mr. Yebo, thank you also. Also, Gloria Ume Ezeoke, Channel Television.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gloria, for your time. Not forgetting, of course, Shola Oshunke, General Editor, The Sun.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen out there, you've been watching the